If your pump has been leaking or spraying water, it's likely your pump has become damaged, requiring this repair. In this video, we will be switching out the shaft seal and the impeller in the WLS lawn pump. For this fix, you'll need a WLS repair kit with the appropriate parts corresponding to your pump's horsepower. Check your manual for the exact part number you'll need. Before we get started, detach and drain the unit and bring it someplace dry where you can keep track of small parts. Begin by unscrewing the 4 bolts from the volute with a 16mm wrench or ratchet and set them aside for later. The volute can now be carefully pried off with a flathead screwdriver, as pressure should be holding it firm to the seal plate even after the 4 bolts have been removed. This will reveal the O-ring that was set along the inner rim of the volute. Remove and replace it now if necessary. Moving on to the rest of the pump, you should now see the diffuser, which is tightly screwed into the seal plate. These screws rust with age, so be careful not to strip the screws by using an impact screwdriver if necessary for removal. Once the screws are out, pull out the diffuser to reveal the impeller below. The impeller cannot be unscrewed or pried out from this angle, so instead move to the other side of the pump and examine the back of the motor. Using a flathead screwdriver, pop off the center rubber cap, revealing a small crevice wide enough to be held still with the flathead screwdriver to prevent it from turning. Lock the back from spinning while you unscrew the impeller. With the impeller removed, it should have come out with half of the shaft seal, leaving only the other half to be removed. To save yourself some trouble later, you can attempt to pry out the shaft seal with a flathead screwdriver now. If this proves to be too difficult, flip the pump forward on its face and remove the 4 bolts holding the seal plate to the motor using a 14mm wrench or ratchet. Setting the bolts aside for later, carefully lift the motor off the seal plate and set it aside. Now from behind, hammer out the shaft seal using a flathead screwdriver and a rubber mallet. With the back of the shaft seal removed, you're now ready to replace your parts and reassemble your pump. Begin by pressing your new shaft seal back into the seal plate. If you detached the motor earlier to remove the shaft seal, lay the seal plate face down and slowly realign the motor on top of the seal plate before returning the 4 bolts to the back of the seal plate. Hand tighten the bolts to evenly distribute pressure before using a torque wrench to tighten them equally to 140 inch-pounds plus or minus 40. Next, assemble your new impeller by attaching the rest of the new shaft seal to it so that it looks just like your old one, with the silver steel side facing down against the impeller and the black ledge portion aiming toward the ceramic piece you already put into the seal plate. If you have accidentally made contact with either the black ledge or the ceramic piece, the oil from your skin needs to be removed with a denatured alcohol to ensure that the seal is even and doesn't slip. Thread the new impeller back into the seal plate by once again locking the back of the motor still with a flathead screwdriver. Hand tighten only. Next, reattach the diffuser with the same 3 screws as before. Put a small amount of either Vaseline or dish detergent around the neck of the diffuser to allow the volute to seat properly without pinching or damaging the O-ring on the diffuser. Then, to reattach the volute, lay it face down to keep the O-ring set in place before slowly setting the rest of the pump on top, aligning the 4 bolt channels correctly. Be sure the top of the volute is configured properly with the motor in its original orientation. Hand tighten the 4 remaining bolts evenly before using a torque wrench to tighten them equally to 240 inch-pounds plus or minus 40. You can also do a cross-torquing method once the bolts are hand tight. Then, in a crisscross pattern, turn the bolts 1/4 turn. With each quarter turn of all 4 bolts complete, you will need to turn the drive shaft in the back to ensure that there is no locking. Once you've achieved a locking status, then back out the bolts 1/4 turn. Finally, return the rubber cap to the back of the motor once everything has been reassembled. And maintenance is complete. Test your pump to make sure it is operating properly again after you've made your repairs. If you have any questions, please give us a call at 1-800-237-0987 or email us at cs@waynepumps.com. or leave a question or comment below so we can further assist you. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook for up-to-date news and discussions.